Welcome to Soul SiStories.
Welcome, everybody. This is producer Kirk here, and I just had the distinct pleasure of hearing for the first time this amazing individual named Brianna that is, full disclosure, a relative of our two hosts, but I don't think it's going to diminish what you're all going to hear. So we're just going to spend a little bit, since this is our inaugural episode, as it were, after our little intro trailer. And so we're figuring this out as we go along. And I think that's what's great about what you as the world listeners are going to get, as long as we can stay motivated to produce these episodes and send them out to you with our own little mental wellness breaks and, planning our busy lives and whatnot. But first off, I just want to thank you both for this great, amazing idea. And when I first heard about it, it really inspired me. So I would like to hear about, we just recorded our first episode. And where are you?
Very hopeful. That's really excited because I think our first guest is incredible, dynamic, inspires us, I think,
Agreed.
As her aunts, but also she brings so much hope and inspiration into my life.
Right.
And I can't imagine this world without her light in it. So.
Absolutely, sis, for sure. This something about our Brianna, who has just been a light from the beginning, and we knew that we wanted to bring her forward here. We knew that it would be a really easy and natural conversation, one for the history, but two for who she is and all that she has to offer. And so it was just so much fun to have this time and experience with her, and also to hear things that even though I've known the girl the entirety of her lifetime, there were things that I was hearing for the first time that gave me chills and real ahas about who she is and what makes her so magnificent. Yeah. And also, can I just say, vibing with you, sis, like, here we are. Kind of cool. And we did the thing that we've been visioning and knew could be a thing. And here we are making it happen.
Kind of cool. And I think along those lines with learning new information from Brianna, as we asked the questions, I kind of had in my head maybe where it would go. And so it was kind of fun when it had nothing to do with what I was thinking, And I look forward to people hearing that and really kind of getting, I guess, from the mouths of babes. But of course, she's not my little baby anymore. She's, full grown woman, but...
Right. And just the grace that she has. And she talked about her bravery, and you'll hear all about that. But her bravery in just moving forward, taking the steps. But I think there's so much grace in that bravery. She does it with so much openness and welcome to everyone, to all. She leads with love, and she shares herself so freely. She is an absolute inspiration to me for those reasons and so many more. But that was just beautiful to hear. We want to hear from you, Kirk.
Yeah. So I think I said it afterwards when we spoke, I'm a girl dad. You're always like, I want my daughters to be inspired. And I just listened to not only inspiration, but assuredness, confidence, empathy. She knew from a very early age, and, having the inspiration, she said it right off the bat, the women in front of me. And she has embraced that, and she is proud of that. And she is, I think, allowed that to mold her vision and also her vision of life, right? Not only the vision for herself, but I think what she wants out of life and what she wants out of other people. And the one thing that I kept hearing as well is it was never I. It was we, and a crew of, and it was you and my aunts and my other, people that have influenced in her life. But also just like I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to do what I can while I'm here. And I think she has an awareness of, your time is your time and you don't know where it's going to go. And she chose and has chosen to embrace it and use it for good. And
Absolutely. She talked about also that jumping in both feet first and this being a philosophy. And I'm like, yes, girl. Absolutely. That's how she's always lived. I loved her vocalizing that particular perspective. And I think it'll resonate with a lot of people also that this is a choice. This is not just a natural instinct and away we go. It is a conscious choice to live in this way and act in this way. And that's what makes it so powerful and so hopeful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And she chose that word creativity, right? The hope is through the creativity. And that is, I think, so valuable for others to hear, that it's not like hope is just handed to you. It's not that you're just waiting for somebody to make your dreams come true, or you're waiting for, I don't know, somebody to give you the money, somebody to give you the big break. That's not what she does. She could have just waited for things to happen, but there was something in her at a young age. I mean, certainly 10 years ago, but I think even before that, where she just said, I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to take my life in my own hands and I'm going to create what I envision. Right. And that is very hopeful for me, and hopefully for others, to know that it doesn't just present itself, that you can create hope, which gives you like the whole meaning of life. The reason for living is whatever you are hoping for. So
absolutely. And how she discussed, which I just love so much, this idea of going forward with this passion and letting it also going with however it shapes, that you have that vision in mind, you move towards it, but it may not manifest in that way that you are particularly envisioning. But this other journey, this other ride that is related to it is going to be expansive and beautiful and take you in new and exciting directions. That is a theme, in my other life as a children's book author, I do author talks, and that is a theme that I always bring to the discussions, is that passion, that thing that you love, stay with it, do it, keep saying yes to it. You will find your way. You're the basketball player, okay, you might not be LeBron.
Even if you run into obstacles, keep going.
Yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. Learn from those.
You can learn from those, and you can find a path that you didn't even know was there. You're maybe not going to be that one, the top player in all the NBA, but you can maybe have a life of a professional basketball player. You can be a coach. You can You can be in the world doing the thing you love.
Yeah.
Not to give away too much, but one of the things that really stuck with me is you asked her the vision of what you wanted to do or where you wanted to be. And she clearly stated it, and then she's in it.
Yes.
And it's not quite that same that she had envisioned as a child, but it didn't deter one bit. It was just, hey, this is the reality of it, right? I only saw what was captured. I didn't see all the stuff that goes into before the camera turns on. Right. It was... And I think she appreciates where she's at more because she's had to go through that. So there's going to be this and so much more on this episode. So enjoy it. And we're already working with the powers that be to do round 2, because it was just an amazing conversation and it needs to continue. So enjoy.
Welcome everyone to today's podcast. I'm Donna Rice.
And I'm Diana Herwick.
And we're the sisters of Soul SiStories. And we're so glad to be here with you today. And we are extremely glad to welcome our guest today, whom we know and love, but would celebrate regardless of that fact, because she, if anybody slays, this girl does, and we're so abundantly proud of her and in awe of her. Today we have the wonderful Brianna McDonnell.
Yes, Brianna is a Los Angeles-based performer, creative producer, and social media specialist. She began with the B-Word blog and a simple goal: bring fat bodies into the fashion world. Today, Brianna is trailblazing what it means to be a storyteller in the digital media space. Her passion for media drives everything she does, from starring in and producing content to elevating the creatives around her. Brianna is on a mission to create media that disrupts the narrative.
And on that note, I know, right? Amazing, amazing. That is, that in and of itself is so inspiring that that's your vision and that's what you've carried forward. I mean, girl, from the time you were a little one. So full disclosure, Brianna is our wondrous, beautiful niece also. And we're so blessed to be able to say that that's so, and so grateful that she agreed to come and join us in this talk. So, yeah, we absolutely celebrate you, Brianna, and are so proud of all that you do and are doing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on this new adventure with you guys here today and excited to see what we get into.
Yes. So we do have some questions for you today, but really kind of before we get to that, we thought maybe you would just share with us just a little about like what's going on. I shared your bio and you're doing some great stuff with social media and influencing so many people in so many different areas. And if you want to just tell us a little bit about maybe what you're doing personally, professionally, anything kind of that you'd like to share.
Sure. And like we said, I mean, we're family. So I'm
Yes.
like, how much do I update you? I'll give the podcast the exclusive. So what am I up to? So so January of this upcoming year, 2025, will be 10 years of the B word, which is crazy that I started my blog literally in my mom's garage just for fun. And that became my whole career and all my experience. And as you guys know, I work professionally in entertainment marketing. And so that takes up quite a bit of my time. So I'm less online now as Brianna, as the B word, but I'm very, very excited. Next week's the second week of September. So whenever this comes out, second week of September, we're launching our Kickstarter for my next short film project. So it's my first time going to my audience, asking to help crowdsource. And, we're very, very excited for our next short film. We've been working on it for quite some time. It's called Fat Ass, the film. And I'm very, very excited about it. It's a camp horror film, 3+ size leads. We took like a year to write it. Then we took a year to find the team, all plus size team, which is incredible. As like a film production company, that's pretty, I don't know anybody who's doing that actually. And yeah, we're so excited about it, and we need quite a bit of money to make it. But we feel very confident that we'll raise the money through the community and through other people who are passionate about body diverse media. So I'm really, really excited about that. So fun things are coming up. So we're crowdsourcing the film, 10 years of the B word in January. I plan to celebrate that. And I'm just living, laughing, loving, you know?
Love it. Love it.
It's incredibly beautiful and just amazing that not only have you had the vision, had the ideas, but have put the feet to your passion and have consistently across this decade, and certainly before that as well, because we've been knowing you forever, that you have really done the work and you consistently show up for it through all the trials and tribulations. So we absolutely want to celebrate that.
Thank you.
For sure. And as you're talking about this film, I'm wondering if you'd share with us a little bit about the first production that you did in this way, Just Breathe, right? Was the name. Can you just talk to us a little bit about that? Because for sure people should be finding that one, that brings tears to my eyes. It's so beautiful. Please share a little.
Sure. Again, over the last 10 years, and as you guys have known, I've always been from performing, making my cousins perform with me, to then making my friends perform with me, to then like really building a production company. We've done digital shorts. We've done digital series. We've done countless photo shoots. So my most recent production, it was also a digital short film. We released it on social media. It was called Just Breathe. And it was inspired by so many different things, but Drew Barrymore's God, why am I blanking on the title of that film?
Ever After.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies of all time. And really what was exciting about that film was that it was like the Cinderella story, but she really rescued herself. And so that was really, we wanted to like recreate that idea with also following themes from the movies and from Ever After, in pulling sort of significant iconography from Cinderella, from storybook, from fairy tales, and weaving it into sort of a new or more personal story about sort of, I mean, sexual assault was definitely one of the themes, and like rescuing yourself and finding yourself through trauma. And yeah, it was a lot deeper than just a 2-minute digital short film, but that's kind of how I like to do things.
Yeah.
It was not only was the outcome beautiful and just lovely to see, it was so I took great joy and pleasure in watching your journey to that that time of not only filming and then but releasing, and everything that brought you to that moment of release. Your diligence and your commitment to your team and putting forward something that was such a community based and particular communities' voices being heard. There was everything from top to bottom that just absolutely inspired. And you know, that's legacy stuff. That's stuff that you were putting out there that lives and breathes.
Yeah. That, I mean, that's always been a component. The team has always been a component of what I do. I, as somebody who would like to play every role in every show by myself, been there, but it's also, I just got to a place where I was like, you know, playing in the sandbox by yourself is not as fun as collaborating with people who get the vision, who understand what you're doing, who are excited about what you're doing. And I'm really, really grateful that, I mean, it's taken many, many years to find people who are in such alignment with me, but we feel like in a really great place. And that took a lot of growth to get there. But the team has always been important to each piece.
Yeah. And so, of course, being your, you know, older aunts, not too old, but your older aunts, of course, we are totally inspired by you, you know, from just like early days. You've just been an inspiration, and not, yes, I know you're modeling poses, and not just, really not just for us, but we get to share the joy that we have, you know, for you and your growth and your journey with all the people that we know and love also, right? So I think you do, your blog started with this one audience in mind, but it certainly has grown from there. Your film doesn't stick with one community. It crosses kind of community lines, right? And I think that's one of the things about you that I know is just that you kind of break down barriers. Like, you are a kick-ass girl, like nothing's going to stop you, which for me to see that in somebody I love, you know, a young woman who's growing up kind of behind me, that's just really, really exciting to see, which is one of the reasons why Donna and I really wanted to have you kind of be the
inaugural guest.
Yeah, because you're just so important in our life and have so much value in this world that like we've got to get it out even more, right? So yeah.
Truth. So, you know, a big part of what brought Diana and me together in the Soul SiStories journey is this idea of hope. That we've been on some pretty dramatic, wild, powerful, beautiful, deep, heartbreaking, glorious, all the things journeys for the past many years, that is just human existence also. But we have been very intentional about hope through this journey and holding that space and like I said, being intentional about that. So we've got a tagline for this podcast. We are Soul SiStories, hope through ... And so our idea is that each of our guests, you know, sort of has that hope through experience. And we talked with you a little bit about that. And what is your hope through word, and that you gave to us? And we would very much like for you to speak on it if you could. This is hope through creativity.
Yes, hope through creativity. I through my own soul searching and growth, and I mean, I feel like I have to acknowledge that I am nothing without the legacy of women before me. Like, you know, also we maybe can't do this podcast because whenever we're together, we always just cry.
I'm stunned that these are the first moments of tears, honestly, among us. So
I
holler.
was holding it really together, but no, I mean, I like, yeah, I am nothing without the legacy of women before me, and that's so pivotal to just who I am as a person, but also so pivotal to the work that I do. I talk a lot about like I learned so much about the world through like the lens of the women, like of my aunts, my mom, my grandmother, like, and growing up sort of around a kitchen table, and like just so many stories of womanhood that are so like just who I am because of you guys. So happy to be here, and hope through creativity is really yeah, just it's a tenet of my being. It is an absolute, I live and die by hope and by creativity. Through my own soul searching, and really getting alignment of like what are my values, and 10 years of doing this online blog turned production company, creating my art, and really questioning like, does this still matter to me? Does this still matter to anyone? Do I still want to do this 10 years in? Do I still care? Do I not care? And so really searching all parts of myself. I really found that without hope, I am nothing. Like if I do not have hope for a better tomorrow or a better future or a hope for the world or for like global community or for my neighbor or for my best friend, like, or for myself, like if I don't have hope, then Brianna, as an entity, as a soul, it's done. So hope means so much to me, and I'm so aligned with you both that is the theme of this project.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sugar Pie.
Yeah. So, you've talked a little bit about kind of the last 10-year journey, but clearly the journey did not start 10 years ago when you started your blogging in Mom's Garage. So if you can, maybe share with us a little bit about what got you here.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, again, as someone who has known me my literal entire life, I have always been sensitive. I have always been creative. I've always been called to sort of express in my own unique way, which has always made me feel sort of isolated and like, okay, are there other people out here who are into what I'm into, or do I need to sort of like mold myself to become like popular or well liked? And so one of the best lessons one of the many lessons my mom gave me, but I was young. I was in elementary school, and I was feeling like that I wasn't fitting in. And I was always taller and bigger than everybody. And so that kind of really, that really peppered that was my experience of always being the biggest girl. And like, I really internalized so much of what that meant to like move through the world as like a bigger person. But my mom, I was like, I'm not fitting in. I don't feel like I'm not like clicking with these people and having friends. And like my mom told me, she said, well, why don't you, instead of trying to like sit at the table with everyone, why don't you sit alone and see who joins you? And I was maybe 8 years old, and I don't know, that was really prolific. And I thought, okay, let me like sit alone and see who like joins me. And I just went now, I mean, this was almost 25 years ago that me and this friend met, but I just went to her wedding, and she was one of the friends who sat with me when I went, so I found my people for sure. And I feel like when I started my blog, it was kind of like, okay, I feel like there's other people out here who are into what I'm into, fashion, beauty. I'm plus size, and like that doesn't really exist. I mean, 10 years ago, like the plus size space was so different. And like, let me just take this leap of faith and see if there's other people out here. Let me sit alone at the lunch table and see who finds me. And it's been an incredible journey.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've known you all your life and I've never heard that story before.
Really?
And my God, that moves me so deeply. And
You know Debbie, she's a sage.
I know Debbie, but I also know Brianna and the fortitude, the bravery, the this is me presence in the world and sitting in that space, even though I know as part of what you're not sharing right now, I know the deep emotional challenges through that journey as well. And particularly as you are so present and public. And, not everybody comes to that space with light and love, right? And tries to throw some of that down. And that you not only have continued to sit in that space, but to shine and bring others with you just speaks so much to your character, who you are, your heart and your commitment, your passion, all these wonderful, wonderful things that make up the presence that is you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Little love fest here we're having for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love hearing that journey.
Yeah. So, our podcast is about hope, right? And how you find hope and how you create hope. But it also sounds like one of the reasons you do what you do is to share hope, right? To like, who's coming to your table? Who are you bringing hope to? Also, right? So it's not just about fulfilling your own needs, but it's also filling clearly a huge hole that's been out there that you've been filling for at least 10 years in our life, obviously a lot longer than that. But
yeah. I mean, as an actor, a little bit in a part of that like soul searching of like, does this still matter to me? Do I still like this? Do I want to keep performing? Do I keep doing the B word? Do I not keep doing the B word? And like, again, part of being an actor is like, okay, is this just to like fulfill something for me? Like, do I need just like attention or do I just need like something? But it has always been bigger than me for sure. I really stepped away from theater for a long time because I didn't feel like I had like the autonomy that I wanted as a plus size like actress, which is why I then started producing and creating my own theater. I felt like casting was really limited. I know I'm not the only plus size actor who feels that. And that was really what started me to create my own work, because not only did I want to work with people I respected and loved and want to be in other people's productions and that, but I just felt like it was so limited and I didn't want to leave my career up to just like if somebody else saw me as the part. And like I wanted to be so much more than I've ever seen available on screen for plus size people. And I'm also 6 feet tall, so that's also very limiting, like as a film actor. Something I didn't really know going in. I was like, oh, wait, wait. So I am definitely just not a cookie cutter in this industry. And so I really was like, I need to pave my own way. And through that have really widened the door for others.
Yeah.
And I just did an event. I've been sort of, like I said, like I haven't been online as Brianna as much recently. And I just went to an event, an in-person event with like the plus size community. And it was like it was called Thick Thrift. It's in Los Angeles. It's a only plus size thrift market. It's incredible. And maybe 3 or 4 groups of women came up to me throughout the whole day and told me, oh my God, you were the inspiration behind me starting my business. Or like, you have no idea. Like you helped me like realize I wanted to get back into acting. And it was just these like little fleeting moments, but I was like, wow, that is really wild. That like so much, like we've said, beyond plus size fashion, beyond being an actor, beyond making digital shorts and short films and digital series, beyond whatever, that people could take that inspiration from me, or that's really the why.
Yeah. Yeah. And that, speaks to the SiStories and the legacy and, all the things that, are bigger than you, right? That just continue. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what is it out in the world there that sparks that hope for you, in you? What gives you hope?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thanks. We thought of it ourselves.
It's like so many things, but to me, it's like small human moments, like little moments of kindness. It's like, I feel like we can get really, or I can for sure, get washed up or overwhelmed with bad news, or this side versus this side, or these people are good, these people are bad, this is happening, this atrocity is happening in the world. And then I go out and I see, like, one of my favorite parks by my house, I go and I read, but there's men who play dominoes every day, and they go and they are always there and they always play dominoes, and like, that's, wow, that friendship, or a friendship I've had for, you know, a million years. I just went to, like I said, my childhood best friend's wedding, and I was like crying, and everyone's like, can you like hold this together? And I was like, this is just such an amazing moment. And yeah, it's those moments, and for me too, something that makes me feel alive and gives me those extra like tingles of hope and of just aliveness, is going to the movies. I love, love, love going to the movies. I've always loved going to the movies, but it's right when the lights go down and the movie's about to start. It makes me think of the Carol Burnett version of Annie. There's a song where they're like, let's go to the movies. And it's like this whole big ordeal. And so whenever I go to just the movies, I always think of that. And I've always loved movies and the magic of movies, and the transformative nature of storytelling. It's the same feeling for me too when you're about to see a musical and the band is tuning, like right as the lights go down. Like, that's like a little magic moment for me.
Yeah.
So it's really those moments, or those like full circle moments, when something happens that you can't, I could have never planned this in my little human mind, you know, like there's just a majesticness to life, and I love to be delighted by the universe. I love being alive, and those are the moments that make me feel it.
Sweetheart, you know what I'm hearing through all that you're saying is that moment of possibility, and that possibility absolutely does equate to hope. There's more, there's life, there's breath, there's activity. I'm with you. You put it so beautifully. I'd not thought of it in particularly that way, so thank you for that. Love that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you shared with us the story of, you know, kind of that incident in elementary school when your mom said to sit at your own table. I'm curious, or we're curious, I guess, what would your 13-year-old self, so think back to when you were 13, what would your 13-year-old self say to you now about what you're doing and where you're at now? What would 13-year-old Brianna say?
Oh my gosh, I think about that often. I would hope that she thought I was so cool and like bold and brave and following like her heart, and yeah, all of those things. It really comes back to like, I would hope, and I know that she would think I was very cool. So that makes me feel like I'm aligned and on the right path. And again, with the soul searching and the therapy and the personal work, like my whole life I dreamed of, you know, living in Los Angeles, making movies and being a movie star, really. And so it's so interesting the path that my life has taken now that I live in Los Angeles. I work in entertainment marketing. I'm going to the Emmys next week for work, and like, here I am, I'm making a movie, like not the way I pictured it, but I'm doing exactly what I wanted to be doing.
Right. And no doubt brave and amazing and awesome and doing these great things. And I mean, what a different world had 13-year-old Brianna had you already present in the world as this adult role model, you know? Yeah. So, wow.
Yeah. And I love, that's just a great case in point, because it's a thing that we often forget. We get so closed in, I think, in terms of the dreams and how it needs to manifest, that we shut out the possibilities. And you are just a glorious example of, you know, staying in that alignment, staying in that truth. You are certainly making things happen, but things also happen in that space, right? And it doesn't look exactly like little one dreamed, but it sure is amazing and wonderful, and is living in the truth of what it is that your heart desires, right? So I love that. And I love that. And I love young people to know that that's so, whatever the dream is, there are ways to really experience that deeply. Anyway, this is not about me and my thoughts. This is back to you and your thoughts.
No,
So
I love the reflection back. I know, I think about that too. I think, 13-year-old Brianna, even 18-year-old, 21, I was I was like, well, why am I 18 and not on Broadway yet? And it was very like, why am I not the next it thing? So it took a lot of trust, and my mindset now at 32 is just so different. And I don't think I would have traded any of the journey at all. So I feel exactly in the right place here.
Awesome. Amen to that. Amen to that. All right, so here's a quick question. Let's see if you have a quick answer.
Okay.
Do you have a life philosophy?
Oh my God. My life philosophy. I had a friend once tell me that I was somebody who like jumped in the pool both feet first, like not like a little tiptoe, like really like jumped in, dived in. And that is like good and bad, but I would say that I like just jump in both feet, like you're alive here right now, like do it, go for it, don't overthink it. Don't know if that's a quick answer.
No, that's a great quick answer. What I'm curious is, where do you think that comes from? Like you just had that in you, or what inspired just that knowing and doing in you?
Okay, that's an interesting thing, because I again, a lot of people I think look at me and are like, Brianna's very brave, and there's so many times when I do not feel brave.
Bravery is a choice. Right. It's you choose bravery and step forward. Yeah.
And so I was actually having a conversation with my mom a couple days ago, and she brought up something really lovely about my dad being like, that he was we're similar in a lot of ways. I'm like my mom and I'm like my dad, but I really think it comes from, both of them raising me and my brother to really, you can do, they told us that every day. Like there's some really hardcore life lessons that my parents like were really strong on. And one of them is like, you can be and do and have whatever you want. And you have to be willing to work for it. So I think I've always been down to like work for it. And, that was one thing. And they also, they were really strong on like, if you have to be a person of your word. And so I've given myself my word that I will do what I can do to follow my dreams. And so I can't let myself down. Right. And so I will show up for my part. I've given myself my word that I will show up and do the work.
Yeah. And that bravery word, by definition, in order to be brave, you also have to be scared. There has to be fear. If if there's no fear in the situation, then there's no need for bravery, right? If there's if the net and the mat is underneath you when you take the jump, well, the fear is gone because you're protected. So bravery is doing it despite the fear, despite the net not being under you. So you are the definition of brave. You really are. So you don't have to take it from me, but think of what the word means, and you are brave.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Yeah. So, how do you hope to be remembered?
Oh my gosh, this feels very in line with a lot of the work I've been doing recently. So I have these questions at the top of my mind. Someone just asked me to write my eulogy, which was a really interesting thing. And I'm trying to remember what I wrote in there, but I really wanted to be remembered as somebody who was a light, really. Like, I really believe in living, breathing, being a person of good, and a person bringing, also go back to my Girl Scout roots of like, leave any place better than you found it. So, in Girl Scouts, that really meant like pick up 5 pieces of trash. But I really believe in like, trying to make the world a better place through whatever impact I could have. And I think at one point I want to have a global impact and I want to change the world for good. And that means on a really grand scale, I'm doing that and I'm impacting people all over. And I've really realized that it's like, between me and my neighbor, and it's between me and whoever's listening to this podcast, or me and the guy at my local gas station who I always take 1 minute to say like, hey, like, and we chat. So I would really like to be remembered as somebody who, yeah, brought light into the world and empowered other people to live boldly.
Yeah.
And you are absolutely that, and have always been that light. But it is the magnitude of the light is brilliant, and not just because I love you personally and deeply, but that is a truth about you and your presence in the world. I want to say one more thing about that I'm aware of when you talk about that close space or on the really big stage. There's also the ripple effect, right? So we hit globally also by impacting the one. Yeah. And out and out and out from that. And certainly that is true of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So where are we? Where are we on our questions?
I think we're at a section that we are going to kind of call rapid fire. We're just going to throw some questions at you and you get to throw the answer back to us. So
there you go. Yep. Let's do that. And if you want to expand on them or expound, do so. Or if not, just say the thing and we'll go to the next.
Cool? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. What color is hope?
Oh, what color is hope? I first went like baby blue, like ocean, seashell-y blue.
Love it. Love it. Love it. What does hope sound like?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go back to my answer. It sounds like the musicians tuning right as the lights go down of the start of a musical.
Great.
Love it. What is your theme song?
Oh, what's my theme song? Something fun, something disco-y. I've been really listening to the song Sunny a lot. Sunny.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, my life. Dee, 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 dee. And I've been feeling good with that, jamming with that song. So that would be my song right now.
That is so fun.
Yes, I love it. So we asked what your 13-year-old self would say to you. What would you tell your 13-year-old self?
Oh, okay. I like to think about this too, because sometimes at some points, I think I wouldn't tell them anything because there's like a lot of things that you have to go through. Yeah. And in the last, from 13 to now, I definitely have gone through a lot of personal growth, a lot of grief, a lot of change. And I think, that's like life probably from 13 to 32. Yeah. And part of me wants to be like, okay, it's going to be a lot, but like, you'll be okay. But I don't think I would say anything, honestly. Just, I love you and I'm proud of you.
Yeah. I like that.
I like that so much. Absolutely. Who inspires you?
Well, you too.
Ah, girl.
Again, harkening back, the legacy of women that I come from, we are a strong, badass bunch. And like, each a different life journey, but it's been really an honor to watch everyone as I've grown up. But who else inspires me? As far as like celebrities or people, I have to also, of course, shout out my mom. I have to shout out, I really have modeled my business consciously or unconsciously around women who are stars and actors, but also producers. So like a Reese Witherspoon, Issa Rae, I would say Shonda Rhimes as well, but she's not an actress. But that's really, I'm very, very inspired by those women as well.
Who are also, like you, just super good women in the world. Doing the thing.
You gotta be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shining the light. Fill in the blank. Creativity is what?
Life. I think that's my life force. It really is. And when we spoke about like hoping creativity, my first thought was really how important creativity is to my mom as well. And I was like, wow, it's so interesting because yes, we were creative together, but I've always like lived in my creativity. It's sort of been my own process. And yeah, creativity is really life. And I like to live my life with creativity in every aspect of what I'm wearing, to what I'm listening to the projects I'm doing, to what I'm eating for dinner. Like that, it's really in all areas of my life.
Yeah. Great.
All right. So another fill in the blank. The meaning of life is.
Oh, the meaning of life is love. I mean, there's nothing really more to that. It's really, really live behind, like, you're just here to live, laugh, love. And like, that is what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Live, laugh, love. Okay. Last fill in the blank. Hope is what?
Hope is, ooh. Hope is, my first thought was like life-giving, and like, to go back to again our what we've said before, but if I don't have hope, it's like in my soul. Hope is in my soul, like it has to be. Without hope, yeah, I'm nothing. So it's really, hope is everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, beautiful, brave, wonderful Brianna. We can't tell you how grateful we are that you spent this time with us. Well, first, so grateful that like you came into being and that you exist in this world, because the world is better,
Lighter.
lighter
Mm-hmm.
for you and your presence and your intentionality about life and creativity, hope and love in this world. Thank you for sharing this time with us. I love you so dearly, and I'm so very proud of you.
And actually what we want to do is to allow you to maybe share how people can find you. Kind of, you shared a little bit of what you're doing now, but where can people find you? How can people follow you?
Well, thank you so much for having me. So happy to be here to support you both. I'm very excited for where the lives this podcast touches. So, yay. You can find me at thebwordblog.com. I'm on Instagram, TikTok. That's mostly where I'm at. Again, we're launching our Kickstarter for our new film, Fat Ass. I cannot wait. So I hope everyone that's listening is a part of that. $1, $5, $10, $1,000 helps. So we're so excited about that. And you can follow that journey along as well. It will all be on the B Word.
Do you want to share your fundraising goal for that film?
Yes. Yeah. We're raising $150,000.
Yes, girl.
To pay a crew of about 100 people, all their asking rate. Again, nothing I do is like low key. So this is like, it's fully a camp horror film. So there's deaths. So we need a stunt coordinator. There's power cars. There's fashion. There's blood. There's, I mean, again, a crew of about 100 people, including extras. And so everyone needs to be paid their rate, and that's what we're raising the money to do.
Awesome.
I know with every fiber of my being that is being manifested, and we will see that. So that is absolutely coming to be. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
Well, thank you so much for this time with us and for sharing hope, life, love, all the good stuff. I think this is where we sign out and we say, everybody stay tuned in to the wonderful Brianna McDonnell. You want to keep hearing from her. Thank you, love.
I love you guys.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you, sweetheart. Love you. Love you. Thanks for joining us today on Soul SiStories.
And thanks for sharing stories with us. We'd love to hear your stories as well and keep the conversation going, absolutely keeping the hope going. So we're really hopeful that you'll connect with our guests as well who have great stories to share. Go ahead and follow them in various social media platforms or live venues, wherever it is that they're performing and sharing what they do.
We would love to have you follow us on all of our social media platforms, subscribe and rate, as that will help us get our message of hope out to others.
Thanks for listening to Soul SiStories.